Raiders, today you're going to have a chance to shape how my account goes. We're going to pick what the next legendary to book is. But before we talk about that, I just want to let you know there is no better time to start a raid account than right now. We have Ezio Auditore as the free login champion. This amazingly powerful champion that we're actually is going to be the next Lego we book out. But we're going to finish him. We're almost done with him. Once we're done with him, we're picking the Lego after Ezio to book out. I'll explain why we're booking him. But the real simple answer is you want to start a raid account now. He's amazing. We just had a turtle collaboration where everyone was like, the turtles are insane. Ezio is even better than the turtles. Amazing speed aura, amazing decreased defense on the A1 that we can get up to 100%. Poison sensitivity, and exploding poisons. Giant steals buffs when under a veil. Like also just gets a perfect veil on himself, does auto attacks, all sorts of good stuff on this champion. Ezio Auditore will be the free login champion. But you can also get, if you download the game from my code in the description to this video, Alanaral. Alanaral is so slept on. 3.5 stars on Hell Hades. Like there's so many other champions that in these promo codes that everyone talks crap about. Elanral gives you the perfect start into the most important content in the game, Clan Boss, because it places HP burn and poison. That means that Elanral is a great Clan Boss champion, but even more. We're going to instantly activate all poison. That's 2 poison activators. So once you start playing the game and get a couple poisons, you're really going to cook with gas as far as clearing the most important content in the game, which is the Clan Boss. You're going to get Elanral, and then you're going to be able to type in a code. You're going to be able to use a code, monthly pack. You're going to be able to use a code. You're going to head right over to here, and when you start the game, you're going to type in Desert Queen, or you're going to type in Kitty Cut. If you want an amazing debuffer who's going to carry you, you're going to hit Desert Queen. If you want an amazing damage dealer who will be a later carry, you're going to type in Kitty Cut. And you're going to have this amazing triple legendary start, and you're going to get so much more. Start raid today using my code. I don't think you'll regret it. All right, to today's video. What we're going to do is we're going to type in, we're going to go right here, we're going to hit Reserve and Master Vault, and we're going to look at what legendaries I have. And we're going to review their skills, and then you're going to vote in the comments. Whatever gets the most comments is going to win. That's going to be the next legendary we build out and book. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a legendary champions, and we're going to build out and book. Now, almost like some of the best legendaries are just booked out, right? Like Leonardo booked out. Yukamasa, not at all booked out. Really good champion. The most recent fusion has the A1 where he's got a 25% chance of a block active skills. But if at least one enemy is under any crowd control, stun, freeze, sleep, fear, true fear, provoke, petrification, it's going to block that. We can increase the debuff for when they're not under that, but hey, he's going to also provide his own freeze. Only a 1-turn freeze, but we can get that down if we book it to a 3-turn cooldown, and we can get it up to 100%. You'll love to see it. This is going to be a potential 3-turn cooldown that's going to steal the turn meter and almost give us an extra turn, because as long as we attack the enemy opponent with the most turn meter, we're going to get that back. Plus the passive, where obviously we're not booking that. Passive where we get an auto A1 whenever we would otherwise skip a turn. Awesome kit. Not sure if this is the one I want most, but this is one of our options to build out. Also, obviously nice, we have the 5-star soul because we did the fusion and did the event after the fusion. We finished up our Xenomorph, one of our free logins. You want to make sure you're getting these free logins, friends. They come with 5-star souls like Ezio, like Xenomorph, and they're just good to go. They cook with gas because of that. Next up, we have Ezio. Ezio, I'm in the middle of booking. I'm going to finish booking Ezio, and I'm going to, you know what? I'll just quickly show you why now. Shoo, I'm not spending right now. Oh, that's not where I'm looking. We're going to see. I guess we're not getting there in the next 3 days, right? If we could book it. Oh, no, that's not 3 days. That's for that. We're never finishing that. We weren't even trying. If we get we have a quest right here, fully upgrade Ezio auditory skills is going to give us 250, which is going to take us right into this and get us closer to that shard, and which is going to hopefully pull us a mythic champion. That's going to be our next mythic champion, friends. So that's why we're booking out Ezio, out in addition to just how freaking strong he is, because he is incredible. What his books are going to get us are his A1 is going to go to a ridiculous 100% decreased defense on an A1. It's just so huge and can't be resisted, obviously, under perfect veil. This is going to be a 100% debuff for the poison sensitivity, and the poison activate on a 3 turn. We're also going to get this 3 turn on the shield killing stealing of abilities. So like we want all these things obviously as soon as possible for Ezio. Mikey is done as well. I use my turtles a lot. A real choice right now is Sanguine Maria. Now, Sanguine Maria is in arena, and I have her in her lethal and stone skin, as many do. See, I've got my only lethal stone skin set on Sanguine Maria. I use her almost exclusively, like she occasionally shows up in things like Doom Tower or whatever, but she's largely a live arena, and in live arena, she's not really coming back around to her skills. So that's the reason I haven't booked her, because like I open with her Gore Scream, where so she's going to remove all buffs and do a bunch of damage. She's a little slow, so there's usually a bunch of damage off enemies by the time she goes, so she's going to hit a lot of damage there. And then I go into the A1, where I'm going to get that. The A1 is we don't care about the extra damage. 30% damage is a lot, but whatever. But the 33% chance of an extra turn is really nice, which is going to lead us into the A3, which is just going to kill something, right? Sometimes we get back around to this, and we have to do an extra turn of the hematic blades on the way. Okay, I'm fine with that. Potential, but sure, not really. When I first started, one of the first big legendaries I got was Shredder, and I started booking him. He's my big mistake champion because I started booking him and never finished. Maybe we should finish him, get his Shadow Shinobi to a 3 turn with a bunch of extra defense debuff on that leech and destroying enemies' defense, which is really nice. And then we can get a 4 turn down to the ninjutsu, which is the one that ignores 15% of defense, shield, and block damage, and can do 30% if under perfect veil, which he often puts on himself. So getting that down to a 4 turn, getting this to a 3 turn, maybe that's worth it. I don't know. Getting the 20% damage is annoying here, so I've been avoiding it, but possible. We can also build up our Cassandra. I think eventually we're going to have to build Cassandra to get use, because this has to be on a 4 turn. And this is her most important skill. Getting this to a 4 turn is sort of what the game is for her. Keeping the increased attack, shatter, and increased speed so that she can't be killed is what we're trying to do here with this champion. Um, of course, I've got to deal with the 30% damage, but it is 30% damage on a 3 hitter, so not terrible. And then we can get the 4 turn down to a 3 turn. And this is, look, 6 degrees defense and HP burn is not bad, right? It's just not like amazing. She's a fine champion. If I could get like a better chance at this is the one I want. Eventually she will get booked. Is it now? Raph is another largely arena champion for me, and even more than that, I spend most of my time with Raph using his A1, and getting an extra 20% damage for 4 books seems like a terrible deal. I could get this down to a 3 turn. The ignoring shields and block when Berserk is pretty good, but um, yeah, I don't know. It ignores shield. It's fine, right? Getting this down to 3 is fine. Nothing amazing here. And then this one is just going to get some more damage and eventually a 3 turn cooldown. I don't use this a ton unless I have to get through the block damage thing. So a bit here, a bit there for this one. Good, not amazing as far as I'm concerned. I'm completely done with Tunisia, despite the A1 still needing an extra 15% damage. Kiss my butt. I got extremely lucky, and all the books went to these two, which means I got down to a 3 turn and a 3 turn, which means we're happy. We're also happy with Glicade. We're not against getting the extra buff get the extra buff chance for a freeze, right? 50% freeze on a 2 turn is pretty nice, but I've already got the 4 turn on the cloak, which is amazing, and the 4 turn on the revive that gives that an extra turn. So like I'm good there. Same thing for Glicade. Basically, Glicade doesn't have the full cooldown on the block active skills and block buffs. That's not what he's here for. What he's here for is the 4 turn for every 4 turns, 2 turns of block damage. A really good choice, one that I hope you consider voting for, even if it is a lot of books, is Gratios. What's prevented Gratios for me is the 4 freaking stars on the one. However, it's got a little bit of heal. It's not terrible, right? Um, this is the one I really want to hit. Getting the extra percentage on the decreased defense and block buffs would be great. And so getting this down to 3 turn. This is one of his money skills. His other money skill can be a 3 turn block damage. 3 turn block damages for anyone who's seen Demetha are huge. These are both cheap. If I get lucky, I can get these relatively quickly. Although that ugly chaff is really annoying. Obviously, completely built his Newt, who's incredible. I got stupidly lucky. Um, again, we don't care about damage. I got stupidly lucky with Valkyrie with all seven going into the one I needed. I needed that three turn for her to matter. From there, a completely booked out Arbiter, which is nice, but not really needed. I semi regret it. It felt like I rushed to do that because I was so excited to get her. Could have taken that back. The only skill that really, really matters for Predator is the A2, and I got the A2 done, so I'm very likely done. You could vote for it if you want, right? We can get this down to a turn three, three turn, and the extra 30% damage isn't bad because he counterattacks so much, but whatever. Mad Hatter is incredible and fully booked out. Alsgore is totally done because I don't. This debuff is really nice, right? But I hit the two money skills again, the block damage and the crack the sky. And now we're completely done with our wonderful Strategos Islam. Expect a video on Strategos soon because he's a complete beast. Um, People sleep on him ridiculously. He is so good into Hydra and so good in PvP. Attacks all enemies, can do that decreased speed for two turns, can put a counter attack and an ally protection, and going to be able to provoke. Had to be booked for that provoke. And then heals allies under protection whenever he's damaged by 30% and gets a heal for every 500 HP. And I'm still early game, right? So he's like, we're going to try and get him to like 100,000 HP to really, really make him obnoxious. But even at the like 35,000 HP, sorry, it's based on defense, excuse me. We're going to try and get him to stupid defense. But even at the like, what is that, about 6,000 defense? 5,000, 5,500 defense. We're getting a ton of heal. Completely booked out is Lady Kimmy. She's amazing. She does all sorts of speed and turn manipulation. We are not booking out Syl of the Drakes, so hopefully you don't pick her. But we're not booking her out. She's got a nice decreased speed that we wouldn't hate getting. We wouldn't hate getting the extra debuff to answer the stun. What would we really be looking for is getting the revive down to a 4 turn, but like whatever, we have other revivers. She's really good for her passive, which is a passive heal, so we don't need that. Um, Same basic concept for Aodex Archer. He's the same concept as he's almost like just worse Arbiter, right? He's got a heal on his A1 that happens no matter what, so we give him big HP. He gets increased attack and strengthen. We use him in arena, so it doesn't matter. We're not never coming back around to that. Getting it to a three would be nice, but whatever. And the revive gets down to a four, but we don't need that many 4 turn revivers. Oh no, we didn't press the legendary again. Now we're gonna go. Boop. All right. So a decent choice would be Jetney because, as you notice, we have Alsgore, and these two have a crazy, crazy synergy. So this is Jetney, Alsgore's wife. So this is Mrs. Gore. All right. First hit, 30% chance of stun. Second hit, 30% chance of 60 chance decrease defense. A 50% stun and decrease defense seems good. Um, Ignores 20% of defense, 7% of 60 chance turn. Can't be resisted if Alsgore's on the same team. Maybe we don't need to book her because Alsgore is sort of doing the work, but getting that to a 3 turn seems good. Um, Before attacking, 30% crit rate and damage on the champion. Extra turn if it kills an enemy and Alsgore is around. That's nice. But this is where the money is. But like again, that's just awakening, right? Like that's not awakening, ascension. That's not necessary, right? We're gonna ignore defense, and we're just gonna completely ignore defense if Alsgore is on the team, which is really nice. So I don't know if we need it. 4 turn on this and a 3 turn on that seem good, but I'm not sure if that's where we want to go. There's always build out Basim. I will literally 6-star anyone y'all vote for in this. The rest are all going to be options to build. Basim is really good. Seemingly, he's got a weaken, which is going to cause more damage, and he's gonna got the big debuff spread, which is really nice. Unfortunately, that's 4 of a +5. Then we've got attack all enemies. We'll ignore 15% of each target's defense. Love it. 30% if Veil or Perfect Veil. Blocks active skills. Blocks debuffs. Uh, Sorry, a block active skills that ignores block debuffs as long as he's under a Veil or Perfect Veil. Attacks 2 times. Deals more damage for each buff. Again, getting that down to a 4 turn seems good. Um, Gives a 3 turn Perfect Veil and it gives an extra turn. That one's amazing. So we can have that Perfect Veil up for 3 out of every 4 turns if we get this cooldown. That's the big one, right? Getting this down to 3 turns is nice. Getting this down to 3 turns is game changing. And then of course we have his he's just ignoring resistance, right? And ignores polymorph. Really, really cool champion. That is again very likely to eventually be built. Will he be next? That's up to you. We can finish Basim. We can finish Basim. Um, we could also go Vitreous. Vitreous is probably better than Basim. They're fairly like comparable in power level, I think, overall. Um, First hit heals champion by 30%. Second hit, 65% of true fear, and we can get that to 70-80% of a true fear for one turn, and can't be resisted if the first hit fully healed the champion, which is really nice. If a boss, second hit is going to be give a decreased speed instead of the fear for 2 turns. So like decreased speed is also really, really good. Attacks all enemies, removes increased defense, ally protection, strengthen from all enemies. Not bad. If it reduces a buff, it's going to get an increased attack and increased crit damage, which is amazing. And is going to ignore 30% defense and boost turn meter for each enemy alive. So ridiculously powerful stuff. Can be a 4 turn, which is pretty nice. This one is the extra percentage chance. This is a decent pick, right? My guess is y'all are gonna pick Basim because he's new, or you're gonna pick like a turtle. But I mean, look, you pick whatever you want. We'll go over the options again at the end, and I will pin a post that says here's what you can pick. But I think this is a really strong choice. We've got a ignore shield and collable block damage with a ignore defense and a max HP. 25% of the damage dealt. Okay. So destroys max HP, which is really nice. Can't destroy more than 75%, but fine. If the target boss destroys max HP to 35%, not 25%, which is ridiculous. And then we've got a random cooldown whenever an enemy increases cooldown. Extra turn if a skill's cooldown is reset after got an extra turn places this skill on cooldown. You'll have to see it. Just really, really strong kit. We got first as Tuskor, who could be it. This is just damage, but he gets extra turns when he destroys stuff. So this is going to attack all enemies. Any buffs are going to increase the damage, and then we can make this a 3 turn and decrease the cooldown if it the skill if it kills anything. So really, really good for waves. One of the better wave champions I have. Wave content isn't really my big problem. That's why he didn't get built yet. But we can also get this on a 3 turn, which is increased attack and crit damage on this champion and ignore shield. If it kills, it gets an extra turn, and then we do more damage for any extra turn. We can finally do a Lionel. We started during turtles and we got a lot of turtles early, so we never ended up building a lateral, but we can do a lateral. We probably have better debuffers and poisoners at this point, but it's not the worst idea. Dreng is an amazing option, and by the way, this is Walking Tomb Dreng, which is ridiculous. But what Dreng is about is going to instantly activate HP burn after attacking. Can't be resisted. Also, 75% chance can be booked to 100% chance of a burn. This is a place, so it's going to attack and then just places the burn, so weak hits won't matter. Can't be resisted. Just going to say, boom, take an HP burn, damage based on HP, and then equalize HP and do some other shenanigans. And will decrease the cooldown of Exalted Prior, which means we can make this 4 turn a 2 turn and keep that burn up basically all game if we get this down to a 4 turn also, which is really nice. Reflects damage and deals 30% more damage. Champion has less than 50% HP. So all around a really good champion. Not a bad option. Not sad to have that kind of burner. Do you think I need a healer? Well, if so, this is a nice healer that has some turn meter manipulation, decrease speed, revive on death, 6% increased defense on all allies for 2 turns is nice. You might have noticed, actually, I don't know if I said this, but I'm building a Godseeker Neri, so maybe you care, maybe you don't, but here we are. Swaps HP with an ally. And then is going to do a bunch of stuff, healing and block damage, increase speed based on that. And then whenever killed, fully heals the ally with the lowest HP, and heals the allies by 20% HP and fills their turn meters whenever the champion is revived. So if you run 2 revivers, this one's really good. So maybe this is kind of silly with an Eerie. I don't know. Worth a look at least. Lord Shazar is an arena champion that doesn't do anything for me right now, but maybe you think Lord Shazar is cool. We've got a potential 5 turn on the bomb, which is lame, right? Can place 2 bombs and decrease detonation cooldown if you crit, which you will. So, okay. Can place and immediately hit bombs. Bombs are strong. We're seemingly, supposedly, going to exit the bomb meta. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. We're going to exit the bomb meta as everyone gets their Grim Forest gear, but we'll see. Increase attack and block buffs on this champion for 2 turns with an extra turn. Again, meh. I don't know. People keep telling me Lord Shazar is good. I haven't been sold. Timid, if I had Timit's homegirl, I would be all about the Timid life. I do not have Timit's homegirl, I don't believe. It's not Tila, right? Tila is not Timit's homegirl. I don't believe so. Yeah, if I had Mrs. Timid, I'd be about the Timid life. Timid has a nice heal on his A1 and can fill turn meter. when you have Kaja the Rai, who I do not have, I wish I did, uh, you're gonna get an extra turn whenever you do if no enemy has any buffs, and you're always going to get it when you do your A2. You're going to attack all enemies, decrease all enemy buffs, which is basically get rid of them. And then when you do that, you get an extra turn if there are no buffs now, and if Kaja's around, you always do. Attacks all enemies for attacking 50% increased accuracy on all allies and a true fear. And then eventually, whenever an ally successfully activates the skill, the turn meter by 10%. Whenever a skill does not activate because they're under fear, true fear, place a provoke on them, and that only applies with Kaja. So we really need Kaja for Timid to really be worth it, but a cool champion nonetheless. Um, and again, like getting this down to a 4 turn with getting this down to a 4 turn, right? Like unplayable as is could be useful though with that extra champion. Tila um steals a buff, lots of damage potential there. 100% chance of a burn for 2 turns. Attacks Lemony, 70% chance of a burn for 2 turns. Okay, and gets a continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns based on HP. It's fine, right? Like, is that better than Walking Tomb Drang or Basim? I tend not to think so. And then we have attacks all enemies, 85% increasing duration of burn. That's what her money is. Increasing the duration of burn means that she's good. But like, do we need that right now? I don't know. Kraz is always close. I've strongly considered building Kraz for a while. Kraz might be your pick. Uh, again, I assume that you're going to pick like a turtle, a assassin, or a more recent fusion, but Kraz is an option. He's got a A1, which means we can do it all the time. That's going to have a 50% chance of a bomb on 3 times, which is nice, and a 30% chance of a stun for 1 turn. Again, not bad. 100% of 2 bombs, and that's going to be on a 4 turn. Fills 25% for each enemy with a bomb, so nice on some waves or an arena. Attacks all enemies have to decrease detonation counter of all bomb debuffs by 1 turn, so again, really good. And we can get a block active skills, which is great on 2 turns. Again, getting that to a 3 turn is good. And every time a bomb detonates, allies get 5% HP, which means that that gives him a little PvE. In PvP, like the bomb should be killing people, there's no point, but has a 20% chance of activation in turn whenever an ally or an enemy is killed by a bomb, which is really nice, right? If we get some more bombers, and we do have Dark Smile coming to Stark Smile, he could be really good. He's like my sleeper pick, I think. Lanicus is whatever. Places a heal on the champion for 1 turn if he crits. This is a good team attack. 3 allies for a single enemy. Allies joining attack will use their false skills. However, it's a 4 turn. It does give a 30% fill, but ugh. 30% crit rate, 50% attack, and 25% chance of extra turn. Even with the like 50% chance of extra turn, it's just not enough for me. Mateus will eventually be built. I know he's not great, but I want to build some resistance stuff and let that be the way I handle Iron Twins because Deadwood Jedi did it, or MTG Jedi did it, excuse me, and that sounds cool. And this champion has a increased resistance that I can get to a 4 turn. That's it. Potential down the line. Counteracts with Dark in the Sky whenever a taunt debuff is placed. So whenever it gets taunted, is gonna just attack 3 times and remove buffs, which is nice. Not amazing, but nice. Eventually, we'll get to that. Kirin is pretty good. Wouldn't hate building Kirin. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of 30% chance, 50% chance of 30 decreased speed. We can make that 75. Decreased speed is really strong in a lot of content. We also steal turn meter, which is nice, right? Like good. Puts all target skill on cooldown, really strong into waves and into certain arena things, but it's only 1 enemy, and we can also put it to sleep and decrease turn meter. Okay. Attacks all enemies and puts them to sleep and ignores block debuffs, then has an extra turn to do some damage. Whenever an enemy attempts to increase turn meter, decrease the value by 25%, and then if there are multiple champions, only one will activate. We're not doing anything with this, right? Sorry. Blah. Whenever sleep is removed or expires on a target, instantly activates Threshmaster. That's that one. So instantly activates Threshmaster, which is nice. Um, doesn't work if sleep is removed by damage. So if we can keep them asleep without damage, it's good. So that sort of kills Kirin a little bit, but I do think Kirin is an interesting kid. Packmaster Shayak, if you watched my recent video, is the most recent Lego I got. So you've got Packmaster Shayak as an option. Packmaster Shayak's not great because I don't have the Crocodile, and these other heroes are pretty bad. I need the Throat Ripper for this to matter, but we get a 60% decreased defense, right? And we can have Crocahat join. Terror Beast is terrible, one of the worst rated champions in the game, and I'm not using rares outside of Cold Heart. So, all right, removes debuffs and heals by 50% of max HP is real nice. Shield for 2 turns, real nice. Equal to surplus heal, and tastes the taunt and reflect damage on champion for 2 turns. And again, this is pretty nice. We don't really care about the Throw Ripper. Throw Ripper is really for the A1, but still really good. Fills turn meter by 25%, 80% chance of block buffs on all enemies for 2 turns, which is again good. Can book that to 103 turns. Can't be resisted if yada yada. And then, when attacked, places a hex on the attacker. Ally attacks on the target under hex. Uh, Plays for the champion are 20% more damage. You love that noise. And then, whenever he's attacked, one of these things counterattacks. Again, we need Terror Beast, increase speed. Another sleeper for a change, as is Helior, who I think is kind of awesome and ridiculously cool. Boop, boop. All right, we've actually got a couple more Legos here. I'm so sorry. We've also got Helior, who is a nice increased defense whenever he crits, so he's always going to crit and do that. And then he's also going to heal, attacks all enemies. This is where the money starts coming. 3, places a shield on us for 2 turns, equal to 20%. So an all enemy attack with a big old shield on a 3 turn is nice. Transfers all debuffs from all allies to a target enemy, then attacks that enemy with the default skill, which is really nice. Converts resistance into additional accuracy when using this attack. Heck yeah. So like getting that to a 3 turn, and this to a 3 turn do seem good. Helior is pretty good, right? Whenever an ally has 2 or more debuffs to attack, this champion is going to 30% of the damage inflicted on the ally. So not bad. Arashi I think is fairly bad, but whatever. This is a perfect Veil champion, but we have whatchamacallit for that. We have assassins for that now. 70% chance of stealing a buff. Great. Ignores target defense as shield strengthen. Also ignores throw skill, Veil, and perfect Veil. Oh, if they're under Veil or perfect Veil. If we kill an enemy, increase duration. And this is attacks all enemies before attacking, gets a perfect Veil, and 30% increased crit damage. Deals damage to each target individually, and that's the whole money here. This ability at 4 turn is what we're trying to do because it's pretty good into Hydra. But it's like at the 28 speed in arena. I don't know. At the start of each round, get a perfect Veil, which is repeated, which is good. Reflects damage 20% and whatever. Does not work against bosses, which is like really the lame part. If the reflected damage kills an enemy, get turn meter and perfect Veil. And then Uger the Worm Eater is our last champion here. I'm pretty sure Uger is the last one. 80% chance of stealing around a buff from the enemy. Also has an 80% chance of placing a block buffs on the enemy for 2 turns, and that can be a 100% chance of on an A1 of block buffs on an enemy for 2 turns is really nice on an HP champion. 100% chance of removing on a 3 turn, removes all buffs and a weaken. Not bad. 50% increase accuracy, fine. 60% increase defense on all allies whose defense are higher than are equal to attack, or does the attack buff if their attack is higher than defense on a 3 turn. So those all really nice. And then even whenever an enemy revive, instantly activates the attack all enemies and remove all their buffs, which is pretty good because a lot of revives give an extra buff. If it's Lizardman, it does extra stuff, but who cares? Yeah, and it doesn't place the skill on cooldown. So like, I don't know, Uger seems really, really good. So our options are fundamentally Uger, Karen, Shayak, Helior, Arashi, Mateus, Lanicus, Kraz, Tila, Drang, Cybele, Shazar, Timid, please don't pick them, Elhonorable, Tuskor, Vitreous, Basim, Jetney, and then if you really want, I can finish booking up. I mean, we also have, I guess, Eodex and Syl. Don't pick them. We can finish booking up our friends Shredder, Raphael, or Cassandra next. It is ultimately entirely up to you. Or even Yukimasa, the Demon of Ice, who looks unbelievably cool. It is your choice in the comments which is the next legendary we rank up in Raid Shadow Legends. Don't forget, start the game now. Get your Ezio. Don't miss out on that 5-star Perfect Soul. I'll see you tomorrow for another raid video and later today for that Hearthstone video. Peace. Ooh, I should probably press stop video, right? Yeah.